Hello everyone, I'm Joanne Loulan and I would like to welcome you to our very first Breast Cancer Action virtual Billie Loulan Memorial Celebration. As you all know, we were to be together on May 16th, 2020 to raise money to fight the lifelong disease of breast cancer. Breast Cancer Action is an organization that exposes the causes of the disease, works to fight against these causes, gives information to all who want it, and serves communities that don't normally have access to the information. We're going to have a shorter event than normal, and hopefully we will physically gather again in the not too distant future. We are also celebrating the life of Karen Tate, who we lost to breast cancer in August of 2019. She inspired us in all she did, and she is missed by so many. Please join me in working together to end this disease. During the COVID-19 shelter in place, there have been 2 women in our community that I know of that have been diagnosed with breast cancer and have been dealing with the treatments, surgeries, and shock of their lives changing. This disease stops for nothing. This is the 16th year of the event I do to celebrate the memory of my mother and all those impacted by this disease. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's an organization for people who want to take action. For people for whom what they see being done to address and end this disease is not enough.
We're a grassroots organization, so if you're angry about a pink ribbon product you see or some toxic exposure that is being overlooked or that fracking, could be polluting all our aquifers, this is a place where you're going to find like-minded people.
Since 1990, Breast Cancer Action has challenged the mainstream breast cancer industry, demanding meaningful action and system change. Our founders viewed breast cancer as a political concern and a public health crisis. From the beginning, Breast Cancer Action has been deeply grounded in the feminist, anti-war, and civil rights movements. And we use a wide range of tactics, from marching in the streets, to testifying before government agencies, to mobilizing tens of thousands of people to turn their anger into action.
It was an email-based campaign and web-based campaign where we asked people to write to General Mills and explain why they needed to stop using RBGH if they were going to do breast cancer stuff. And lo and behold, they did. And that is the power of activism. That's when ordinary people do a simple thing like send an email or write a letter or send a postcard. It changes the world.
There is nothing inevitable about breast cancer. It is not a rite of passage of womanhood. And we're working for a world where our lives and communities are not threatened by breast cancer.
For 30 years, Breast Cancer Action has been leading the national cancer resistance through our intersectional activism.
Breast Cancer Action has done more than any other organization I know to expose the corrupting influence of industry money on our understanding of the science of breast cancer.
Today, we have established ourselves as the rapid response watchdog for the breast cancer movement. We never take corporate funding from pharma, corporate polluters, or any company that contributes to or profits from breast cancer. Our independence means we're a trusted resource of unbiased information about breast cancer. Our founders wanted to know why they got a breast cancer diagnosis and how to ensure their daughters and their granddaughters wouldn't get the disease. We were among the first to identify environmental root causes, and we called for the implementation of the precautionary principle to prevent breast cancer. And for 3 decades, we've demanded that policymakers take action on decreasing our involuntary exposure to toxic chemicals in our environment. Our early leaders spoke out when a corporation was granted a patent on the breast cancer genes. 10 years later, we were the only breast cancer organization to join the landmark lawsuit challenging corporate control of BRCA genes. The 2013 unanimous U.S. Supreme Court ruling in our favor immediately brought down the cost of genetic testing, and it also stopped companies from patenting any naturally occurring genes. Breast Cancer Action has never sugarcoated the harsh realities of breast cancer. To sell products, companies sell simple solutions and saccharine stories, but this disease is not warm, not fuzzy, pretty, or pink. Our annual Think Before You Pink campaigns target the most egregious pinkwashers, companies that put pink ribbons on products and engage in practices that increase the risk of breast cancer.
Unfortunately, these pink drill bits are doing more to cause cancer than to cure it. Even on Komen's own website, some of the chemicals used in fracking are listed and identified for their links to breast cancer.
No, that's too stupid. There's no way Komen's website warns of, oh, excuse me, there it is. Oh, okay.
By exposing the hypocrisy of their PR efforts, we've forced multi-billion-dollar companies to clean up their acts so that fewer people are exposed to chemicals that may increase the risk of breast cancer. Breast Cancer Action is working hard to dismantle the breast cancer industry and achieve health justice for everyone at risk of and living with breast cancer.
We believe that people's health and well-being come before corporate profits.
We believe that honesty, fearlessness, and truth-telling about the breast cancer epidemic are critical.
We believe that health justice is a human right.
Breast Cancer Action is something I really believe in.
Breast Cancer Action has always been bigger than any one person. We can do so much more together than we can do on our own, and we've achieved outsized wins over the years. But we have more work to do. Join us in radical disruption and compassionate resistance. Together, we will smash the breast cancer industry.
Wow. Seeing this 30th anniversary video reminds me of all the strides we've made thanks to Breast Cancer Action and of all the work that remains. I'm struck by how Breast Cancer Action has been able to respond to changing times and needs while never letting go of their core values of achieving health justice for all women at risk of and living with breast cancer. I know that every one of you donated in order to be here today. Because of you, we've raised $55,000 of our $100,000 goal. Thank you all so much. Now, if you can help us get the rest of the way there, would be awesome. If you can give more today, that would be wonderful. If you can invite others, like being a virtual table captain, that you think would appreciate this work, please ask them to donate. Also, be on the lookout for a link to a fantastic silent auction. We're working out the technology for that one. These times are a challenge. Thanks so much to Tracy Tomasi for helping me put that together. Bid on some great weekend getaways when we can do that again, and send the link to your friends. Karen Tate is one of the real women who died of this disease this year. She is why we are really doing this, not just a statistic, but each one of the over 40,000 women who die every year of this disease is someone with a family, friends, and a community that loved her. I want to share Charlie and Abigail's video with you in memory of Karen. I'll be back after that with one of my yearly essays. This one is about my latest breast cancer-related major surgery this past February. And then stick around to hear from Executive Director Karuna Jagger. And then we'll end with the song Hero, sung by Jenny Fujita, a Grammy-nominated, nationally known singer. Thank you all for your support. Together, we can meet that $100,000 goal and make sure that Breast Cancer Action has the resources they need to go toe-to-toe with the breast cancer industry.
I met Karen when we were freshmen in college, and yes, it did take another 17 years to start dating, but those years in the first decade or so of our marriage were what anyone would have wanted. Then we landed on Planet Breast Cancer. We took the full tour, the chemotherapy, the mastectomy, the radiation, and the hormones. The metastatic disease was a lot like the initial treatment, but without any real hope. We lost her last summer. This disease, it took my wife, but it also took a daughter, a sister, and a mom.
My mom meant everything to me. She poured her heart into our community and our family. My mom knew me better than anyone and taught me how to believe in myself. I lost her way too soon.
Over the course of her treatment, we met many talented, empathetic, compassionate people, each of them working away as best they could within a system that at best delivers poorly. Now, we all know the pain and suffering caused by breast cancer as well. It's medieval. BCA is focused on this central issue, but unlike the breast cancer medical industrial complex, BCA is also focused on a constellation of issues that compound the unfairness and the viciousness of this disease.
We had great access to barely effective, outrageously expensive treatments. Outcomes for people of color, on average, are far worse. That's wrong, and BCA is loudly telling the world of this disparity.
Solving breast cancer could make a lot of people really rich. The goal should be ending cancer. Conflicts over patents and legal fees and bureaucratic regulation of drug testing, it all gets in the way of real progress. BCA stands up and shines its spotlight of shame here too.
There's more that should be said about BCA, but I'll close with one issue we are passionate about. BCA is one of the few organizations that is focused on preventing the causes of cancer, working to eliminate environmental toxins and other carcinogens, even if they ruffle a few feathers in corporate boardrooms.
So that's why we support Breast Cancer Action. We hope you will too.
My essay this year is Breast Cancer, a Lifelong Disease. Who knew? My fabulous breast surgeon gave me a call on 10/20/2010, a palindrome that I definitely don't celebrate. I had a second breast cancer, another primary, but lucky me, it wasn't metastatic. However, it was lobular. Lobular creates a mirror image on the other breast usually. She suggested that I have a double mastectomy. Makes a mirror image in the other breast? What the bloody hell? I got a double mastectomy and had implants inserted. I joined a study of these implants. Didn't I think, this might not be a great idea, getting implants that are part of a study? Didn't I have alarm bells go off? Seems that I would want to stop in the name of love and say, let's try the old-fashioned ones. But I was freaking out, overwhelmed, getting test after test, and decided, let's just do this. Then the article in the New York Times in August of 2019 said textured implants can cause another kind of cancer. I began a 9-month journey into the nightmare of breast cancer. My surgeon who did the double mastectomy said, these are the fucking really, really bad sucky implants that no one should have used, and you're in for a really bad time. That doesn't really make sense. He probably said, I'm so sorry, these were the implants that we used, and I'll do whatever you want. I was the 7th woman that day that he had talked to, and someone I know who had a different surgeon told me that hers had taken out over 900 by January 2020. I can't find out how many women have had them removed. These were allergen biocell textured implants. The risk now is a 6 to 14 times greater chance of developing anaplastic large cell lymphoma, a cancer of the immune system. As much as anaplastic large cell lymphoma just rolls off my tongue, I'm not interested. I could find that 46% of women who have any kind of silicone gel implants have at least one reoperation within 3 years, and 25% of them have the implants removed. In 2010, I didn't know or didn't remember, or even though there were lots of people with me for these discussions, that they have a lifespan. Who knew that? Who knew they would need to be changed between 7 and 12 years? Who knew they didn't last a lifetime and you would need more surgery? Does everyone know breast cancer is a lifelong disease? Is everyone in on the secret? Lots of people seem to know factors that make it lifelong. I knew lifelong there would be scars. I didn't know that lifelong there would be weird pains, numbness down my arm, fear that I would get it again, that I would become an expert in breast cancer, that I would know a lot of doctors and their staff and nurses and fellows and residents and postdocs, lots of them, years of them, and that I'd be seeing all kinds of strangers for many, many years, lifelong. Another lifelong is that I'd worry for my biological family members, especially the women, that they would get it, and that lifelong this would go on. Then my oncologist said I better get another MRI and a CT scan and many more tests. I had lots of lymph nodes that were inflamed and enlarged and had created a little cover on them. I'm sure it's called a cover because that's what it looks like. I bet medical people call them something else, but it looks like your lymph node has grown a little cover. Then came the excision of the lymph node in my armpit. Getting that wasn't easy. It was on the cancer side and had lots and lots of scar tissue around it, lots. So digging that out wasn't easy. And then they took an ultrasound because they put in a marker so in the future a doctor could see where the excision was. The technician jumped and squealed. Oh! It looked like someone spilled rectangular shaped glitter under my skin, down my armpit, and down the side of my body. I had 24 of those markers. Then testing that lymph node. Then a blood test where they take a picture of every blood cell to see if I had lymphoma. That takes 3 weeks usually, but there was Christmas in between. This went on and on and on and on. The upshot was no new cancer. Then I decided I'd had enough. Taking out the implants and making my chest flat wasn't that easy. Who knew? Who knew any of this? And I consider myself to be an expert in the field of Joanne Loulan and her breast cancer journey. The scar I have now is from one armpit to the other. My surgeon casually said, "Your scars heal well, so this won't be too bad." When I called crying about what it looked like 2 days after the surgery, he said, "Don't look at it for 3 months." That's the most a really good, caring human could say. 3 months will be May 24th. I haven't looked at it. I wear a camisole all the time. It took weeks to not hurt. It will take a lifetime to assimilate. I had pretty breasts since I was 13, even though they were fake for the last 9 years. Once again, I'm reminded cancer is a lifelong disease. We just don't tell you about it because that's too hard.
I'm Karuna Jagger, and I'm the Executive Director of Breast Cancer Action. Thank you, Joanne, for always telling the truth about breast cancer, even when it's hard to hear. The truth is, breast cancer, and so does this pandemic, if only in small part because it's keeping us from joining together in the beautiful home of Joan Finnegan and Mark Matucci. But we can still tell the truth, and we can still make change. Because the fact of the matter is, breast cancer does not stop for pandemics, and Breast Cancer Action's work as an independent watchdog is more important than ever. You may have heard, don't let a crisis go to waste. Too many corporations are working hard right now to take advantage of the coronavirus pandemic to weaken important health and environmental protections. But we are vigilant, and we are determined to use this moment when all the cracks in our healthcare system are illuminated by the COVID-19 pandemic to make meaningful change. 30 years ago, our founders came together because they knew that individual behavior alone cannot stop an epidemic. It's true for the coronavirus pandemic, and it's true for breast cancer, because we all know too many women who did all the right things and were still diagnosed with breast cancer. It's why we work for systemic change that puts public health over politics and profits. It's why we work to ensure that everyone has access to unbiased, evidence-based, trustworthy information and access to the healthcare that we all need. Thank you for supporting this work. And thank you for joining our first ever virtual fundraiser in memory of Billie Gardner Loulan and Karen Tate. For the past 16 years, this community has raised over $100,000 a year to support our work. All told, that's over $1.5 million for health justice. This year, I want to give special thanks to Lori Woods, Angela and Sam Chalace, and Julia Shaw for joining together to offer a $30,000 match in honor of our 30th anniversary. Breast Cancer Action is an independent grassroots organization, and that means we're committed to making a big impact on a lean budget, and your contribution goes a long way. Now, none of this would be possible without Joanne Loulan. Joanne is an activist, an artist, an author, an agitator, and an agent for change. Joanne is outspoken, audacious, inspiring, and a whole lot of fun. Thank you, Joanne, for your leadership and for your steadfast commitment to health justice. And thank you to everyone who's contributed so far. At the time of this recording, we've already raised over $55,000, and I know that by the time you're watching this, that number will have grown. Over 70% of our funding comes from individuals like you. It's what keeps us independent. As a special thank you, we have Grammy-nominated singer Jenny Fujita. She's been part of platinum-selling albums such as Wycliffe Jean's Carnival and personal favorites Lauryn Hill's Miseducation, Amy Winehouse, and more. She's currently the animated voice of Rose on Cricket's wireless commercial. I hope you enjoy the rest of our program. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for your generosity and support.
There's a hero if you look inside your heart. You don't have to be afraid of what you are. There's an answer if you search into your soul, and the sorrow that you know will melt away. And then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. So when you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you'll finally see the truth, that a hero lies in you. It's a long road when you face the world alone. No one reaches out a hand for you to hold. You can find love if you search within yourself, and the emptiness you felt will disappear. And then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. When you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you'll finally see the truth, that a hero lies in you. The Lord knows dreams are hard to follow, but don't let anyone tell them away. Yeah. And hold on, 'cause there will be tomorrow, and in time you'll find a way. And then a hero comes along your side, and you know you can survive. When you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you'll finally see the truth that a hero lies in you. That a hero lies in you. Thank you to all the heroes, and if you're staying home, you're a hero too. Thank you.